Hi, hello, what's up, Jelly Cups? My name is Crispy Jelly, and today we're playing the game called Will You Press the Button? This is a really old game. It's not even like a game like World of Goo or any of that. This is not a downloadable game, at least from what I remember. This is a in-browser game that has been around for longer than I've been alive. And the premise is you get a button, right? And then you have two options. So for instance, this one is, if I press this button, I will be able to walk through walls and fly, but I will become blind. And so I just thought today would be a fun thing to do, to kind of look at these, review them, and yeah, just have some fun with these. So first up, you can walk through walls and fly, but you will become blind. That's an obvious no, and here's why. If you have no idea where you are going, if you are blind, now being blind does not mean you don't know anywhere that you are going, but I rely a lot on my sight in daily life, and I know that if I didn't do that, well, I guess it depends on the mechanics, right? If you walk through walls, if you can turn that on and off at will, and you know for sure whether you're walking through a wall or not, that's one thing. But what if I just had that turned on? And I just walked through a wall that I didn't notice, and then I don't know, into something, right? Off a cliff or something. You know, it's just if I can't see, how would I know that I've gone through a wall? I mean, yeah, I will not. Oh yeah, also it shows you the statistics. So people support me. That's correct. That is how things should be. Okay, oh my gosh, it's chock full of ads. I hate ads. Okay, anyway, I can't see the button, but at least I can focus. Oh man, I should probably get an ad blocker maybe. Anyway, you are granted superpowers, but no matter what you do, you will always be seen as a villain. Now, this is a really good example, right? It really has to do with priorities, right? So, if you have the powers, no matter what you do, you'll always be seen as a villain. If you want to be a villain, no downsides at all. And if you truly want to be a hero, there's no real downsides either. Because here's the thing. If I truly had those powers and were able to use them for good, you know, in various different ways, doesn't matter really what the powers are. Because we're talking about superpowers. So flight or invisibility, telekinesis, truly superpowers. None of this I can wiggle my fingers in a weird direction stuff. So, in that case, no matter what you do, you will always be seen as the villain. It doesn't matter what people see me as long as I know that I am doing things, doing good, you know? Because say I save a bus full of people and they want to try and sue me or get me arrested or whatnot, I saved that bus full of people, and then I can escape using my powers and just live to save other people. So that's how I view it. I'm pressing the button that we can't see, and a lot of people agree with me. Look at that. I will become a transformer, but you rust exactly 1 year later and die. No. I'm too young to die 1 year. Being a transformer for a year is not long enough for me. So, no thanks. Yep, that's what I would think. There are some crazy people. Get a free hat, but it doesn't fit. Yes! Free is free. Why else would I not want the hat? I could always use it as fabric, or sell it, or whatever. Okay, you can own 6 Poke and Eeyore-Mon. It's supposed to say Pokemon, but that's not good. You can own 6 Pokemon of your choice, but one of them, randomly chosen, will die after 5 years. So, thinking through this logically, right? So you can have 6 Pokemon, but it will be lessened to 5 after 5 years. So you'll still have 5, and you'll get those 5 for the rest of time or whatnot. But these 6, but one of them has to die. Now, here's the thing, is that as cool as having 5 Pokemon would be, right? They could be super useful, right? They're like superpowers, you know? They're just their own superpowers. So the problem is what happens if people are going to go after my Pokemon, right? Because obviously that's not going to be something everybody has. So either the government comes after them and tries to take them from me for weird legal reasons, or jealous rich people will try and steal it, like buy it from me. I'll get hunted, whatnot. They'll get hunted, and stuff like that. Not a good environment to live in, you know? Secondly, is I'm basically condemning one of them to death for my own selfish purposes, right? Because, like, no matter what, one's going to die, not including the rest that might be hunted or stolen from me. So I'm gonna say no, because it just wouldn't be right. Ooh, he's 26%. Maybe they were reasoning with me, maybe not. Ability to travel to any period of time, but you will not be able... Wait. You will not be able to a different sense every time, but it comes back when you get to the... You will not be able to a different sense every time, but it comes back when you come back to the present. What? You will not be able to a different sense? What is that supposed to mean? The other one was misspelled. This one's miswritten. You'll not be able to a different sense. I'm gonna just say I will not, because I can't. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. Okay. Here, the you in this universe becomes rich and lives a long, happy life. But the you in every other parallel universe lives a terrible life. Nope. Just because I get to be happy doesn't mean everyone else, if they exist, even if that's a chance. Because here's the thing. It's like, it's the button, if I press it, will determine no matter what that I become rich and live a long, happy life. But I could also get that on my own. And that way the rest of the me's, if they exist, don't have to suffer. And I build character through hard work and sacrifice. You know? And my resume becomes nice and fat. Alright. You fall in love with a used-to-be jerk who turns out to be nice. And he, I'm gonna say she, I'm into girls. She's really cute. But your best friend will hate your guts no matter what you do. Try. I will not. I would not do something that makes my best friend hate my guts. You know? And... Wait, no matter what you try, I won't get her. Yeah, I don't know. That one's a little rougher, but I still stand by what I say. Because the best friend is more important at this point. And you can always find... There are more fish in the sea. So, although, I guess if they hate your guts over that one choice, then they must not be the best friend in the world. Alright. Will you press the button? You can take on the form of any animal at will, but there's a small % chance that you will retain a random feature of it. Whew. Once again, this is all about priorities, right? Because you could get some... I'm gonna say yes. You know why? Because it's a power with a random downside. And here's the thing, right? I don't have to use the power. Once I have the power, I don't have to do anything. So first of all, it's a small % chance. But I also don't, again, I don't have to use that power at all. So if I never wanted to transform, there's a 0% chance that I would retain that feature. But I could always have it as an emergency. Like I'm getting mugged, so I turn into a whale and flatten them, you know? Then there's only a tiny % chance that I'll retain a feature. If I do, so what? I prevented myself from being mugged. Or possibly killed, you know? So yeah. You can experience the feeling of an orgasm whenever you want to, but you can't have sex. Nah. Sex has more to it than just the orgasm, so... You're able to transform into every shape and size that you want, but you cannot find love. Nope. Once again, that leads to, what point is there in being whatever shape and size, you know? Like, there would be superpowers, but if you can't find love, that'll just lead people to dark places. So, you're always warm and comfortable. But, the one you love the most is always cold and never. I would never put that on the one I love the most. You push the button and experience a state of pleasure, stimulation, bliss, excitement, and fulfillment hundreds of magnitudes greater than anything you'll ever experience anywhere else in this universe, and suffer no negative side effects. Why is there a but then? Why do you continue with the but if there's no negative side effects? But you will return to your normal life once you release the button and everything is a great disappointment now compared to... Okay, so that the downside is just having such a high upside. So it's the downside of the hedonistic situation, where if you strive for the greatest pleasure ever, then you become depressed and sad because there's no higher pleasure. I will not. I would not want to put myself through that knowing that essentially everything else is a downhill slope, you know? That's just not a good situation, because how could you ever enjoy any experience with your friends or family ever again, knowing that you've already experienced the best life has to offer? Alright, you will create the best and finest graphic designs in the world, and everyone will recognize you for it, but Comic Sans will be the only font you can... Heck yeah! Let's glorify some Comic Sans. I think it needs it. Alright. You get to spend a week with any fictional protagonist you choose, but you have to help them on their most dangerous adventure, and you are very mortal during this trip. I don't know what very mortal means. I would assume just means that you don't have any powers or anything. But in that case, what fictional protagonist would I choose? That's what determines the pressing of this button. If I choose the right one, then the most dangerous adventure they would have could be something no more than a shopping trip or something. Now, obviously, if you choose how do I put it? A really fun anime, if you will, then you could have a really entertaining week. You know what I'm saying? So you could have some interesting times. But the issue is, what sort of really interesting anime are you going to be doing? Because that still leads to the point of like their most dangerous adventure. Because some of those really interesting animes have some really dangerous enemies. So I don't know. It really depends on the protagonist, and I don't have any off the top of my head that would do it. I'm gonna say no, because 1 week is not worth my life. You know what I'm saying? You can breathe underwater, and depth doesn't affect you. But anywhere you swim is either uncomfortably cold or too hot to bear. I like the cold, so I'm pressing the button. I'm also terrified of the ocean. Oh no. Think about the content! I could totally go into the ocean and just dive deep, deep down. And, that'd be horrifying. Okay. You can bang any girl at any time, but you can't wear a condom.
I see this as an absolute win.
You will excel one talent on the highest level, but that will be your only talent. Nah. Once again, that kind of goes with discovery, you know? What's the point of excelling at a talent and that being your only talent when you can excel at multiple through, work? Able to travel wherever you want with eternal life, including having a backpack, which can teach you languages in seconds with any supplies. So it's like basically your perfect travel kit. But you must do this alone, which makes you lose the ability to raise a family, and if you don't travel to another area within 2 months, you die. Okay, so it's kind of like the opposite of some of the other ones, where rather than being able to, do whatever you want, but not have love, it is instead, you can do whatever you want, but, no family, and you have to, it's a constant nomadic existence, which I would not want. So, and a lot of people didn't agree with that, but here's the thing. If you have an eternal life and the ability to travel wherever you want, it's still limited, You're still gonna run out of place. Well, I guess there's space, but, I'm gonna say to the Earth, because that was my interpretation. Okay. You have as much money as you could ever want, but it's illegal and you have to find a way to launder it. Now, let's work. And if you get discovered, then you're gonna be arrested for the rest of your life. So, and you can earn money normally anyway. So, I've got a job. You will experience true love, but it will only last a week. Then it's not true love. I'm sorry. Alright. You can sense a multitude of colors, usually invisible to the human eye, but you can only wear one color for the rest of your life. What's the upside of this? That's just being able to see some fancy colors, and then you're limited for your dress code. I'd rather not, because I am a more... I like outfits. I like to wear really cool suits. In fact, that has to do with a little bit of my Halloween video that's going to be coming out. But, yeah, I'm going to go with no. So, you become the funniest person on the planet. I already am. I just need to talk with people joke. I just need to talk with people. That's when my jokes really shine. But you can only talk in jokes, and they're always Chuck Norris jokes. gonna go with no. Because there is a limit to jokes, right? Because, like, if your grandma died, let's say, right? And it's very sad. And then you're just like, hey, or like, you're trying to console your family, right? And you go up to your cousin or your mom or whatever, and you're like, you really put the fun in funeral, am I right? No, that's not. There are times to be serious and times to have jokes. Alright, you gain the power to heal any and all children of life-threatening illnesses and grant them good health for the rest of their lives. That's kind of crazy. But their parents become slaves once the children are old enough to care for themselves and can never see one another again. Ooh. Slaves? What sort of slaves? Is it worth saving the entirety of the next generation at the cost of the older generation? That's the question. Which do we care about more? The new generation beyond the old generation, or the old generation enough to not save some of the new generation, right? But it also says grant them good health for the rest of their lives. So we know we'll never have to worry about that generation anymore. So it's like, interesting. So, also, again, what kind of slaves? Because there are slaves that are horribly whipped and just, like, the worst treated things in the world. Or it can be, like, the almost family type slaves. And so, it depends on what kind of care. Like, what kind... Oh, wait! Become your slaves! My slaves! I don't want that many slaves! If I was trying to save entire generations... Could I free the slaves? Could I not have any? Like, well, they can never see each other again. I guess that's part of it. Alright, well, so now that I know that they're my slaves, I could just essentially not have them do much. Like, they could pretty much just do whatever they want. I don't really have to do anything, I guess, other than they have the title of slave. But I don't think it changes much. So the real thing then is just about never being able to see each other again. So that would be... I don't know. That's me making a choice for the children and the parents in order to protect and have the future generations thrive. Ooh, I'm not going to. It doesn't feel right to take that choice from these people, because I don't know, because that's a permanent choice. So, okay, all women are attracted to you, but all men dislike you and avoid you. Nope. No. You only need one woman to be attracted to you. And if all men dislike you, then that makes all of my buddies are gone. What would be the point? Okay, you have free internet connection with 500 millibytes per second. I think that's what it is. I'm not a computer person. But Tumblr is down for heck yeah.
I see this as an absolute win.
Free internet with tons of service. I don't even use Tumblr. It says forever. Oh, like that's sad. Boo-hoo. Okay, get it $5 million, but any food you eat will always be overcooked. Ooh, I'll do that. I'm not a huge foodie, and I know that would make some people like, oh, Crispy, how could you do that? Here's the thing, $5 million, that can buy a lot more than just food, and I don't care a whole lot about food anyway. Also, it doesn't have to be burnt overcooked. It just says overcooked, so maybe it's like a little bit dry or something. But $5 million, that can be put towards a lot. If I put that in a bank, gain me lots of interest, boom, I could be donating to so many charities. I could get, I don't know, a webcam. Alright, you're a master thief and can steal anything you want without getting caught, but you'll have horrible nightmares of everyone you see. Well, already this first one's a downside. You are a master thief. That's already against what I would want. Because then you have to hide so much about your life and, like, livelihood to people, right? If you live off of stealing, then you can't tell people what your job is. You'd have to hide things from your spouse or, like, your friends and stuff. Unless they're in on it, too, but I don't know if I would want that kind of lifestyle. So, become a millionaire, but the person you despise most becomes a billionaire. This gives me $1 million and $1 billion at once. Genius. In your pocket, you will always find enough money for whatever you want to get, and are immortal. That's pretty sweet. We cannot buy a car, house, or food. Cannot buy or cannot have. Because Because if I ask, like, what if I give money to a friend and I'm like, yo, buy a car for me. Hey, this seems fine to me. I don't need to buy the stuff, and I don't even need to eat or sleep and can't be killed. So I don't need most of the stuff that this stuff would need. Don't need food or a house, and a car, not really either, because I could walk wherever I'm going. It would take a while, but I could. So, and I've got enough money to do essentially whatever I want. So, you can travel over universes, being then of what? You can travel universe, being them being of movies, series, etc. And you'll be your version of how you would be in that universe. But just when you sleep, if someone wakes you up in one universe, you of the other universe will fall asleep. Ah, okay, I see. So basically, there's two universes. When I am awake, I'm not in that universe, or the other one's asleep. And when I fall asleep, I wake up as the me in the other universe. I mean, that's kind of how it already is. I have lucid dreams, and if you don't know what that is, a lucid dream is when you dream, you still have conscious thought, right? You're still aware of what's going on to some degree. And mine are crazy realistic, and I am usually able to like be like, oh yeah, I'm dreaming, or sometimes not. Sometimes it's realistic to the point where I just think I'm going about my business, and then I wake up and I'm like, crap, I just did all that work for nothing. So I'm gonna say yes, just because then it'll have more impact, rather than being cheated out of a whole day's work just to wake up at 3 a.m. and be like, oh no, I gotta do the whole day again. World peace. But you have to give up wearing suits. No, I just talked about how I love wearing suits. I mean, yes, because I have to. What 17% looked at this and was like, screw world peace. I love my furry suit too much. You will be granted 5 wishes a day, but you have to press every button on the button. You have to push every button on the site. Nope. Those wishes, whatever those wishes are, aren't worth all the downsides of every single button on the site. You live forever, but your mind will eventually rot, leaving you as an undead being. Ah, see, that's a downside that is worse than immortality. All right. TikTok gets banned in every country of the world, but all the cringy TikTokers now post content on your favorite platforms. This is gonna be the end one, and I'm gonna say no, because here's why. If I did press the button, then my favorite platforms will be filled up with the worst content that I don't watch, because I don't watch on TikTok, and so that can be their garbage heap, you know? They can use that as their trash can, and that way they don't fill up the rest of the content platforms with trash. So, with that being said, also no offense to any TikTokers out there, this is mostly jokes. Okay, guys, calm down. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. This is very fun and kind of very nostalgic, because this is a very old game. I remember playing this when I was supposed to be doing schoolwork. So, very nostalgic to remember my disobedience. But, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!